it's the developer. Right? So it's like, if you like the way the Vix class does things, use it. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. It's well supported. It's been around a long time. It's got lots of great features. You know, it's got a big community around it. It's great. If you don't like the way it kind of approaches things, which I don't, then maybe Fey ORM is a good alternative. But maybe also you don't want a traditional ORM. Maybe you want an object database, and you should look at KyokoDB. So, yeah, I don't think it has much to do with a particular project as much as just kind of what your mental approach to data modeling and ORMs is. Yeah.
How does Fey pass database errors to the program? As exceptions or as return codes? Or
basically, Fey doesn't do anything with them. I mean, it's calling DBI methods, and DBI returns what it does, or does what it does. And if I'm trying to remember, I think. Yeah, it's going to set raise error to 1 on your database handle, so it'll just throw an exception. So if you want to handle them, you would have to wrap the Fey ORM calls with eval and then catch the exception yourself. So I didn't want to get in the business of trying to parse database exceptions. I mean, that would actually be a really cool module, maybe that like understood the errors from each different database and turned it into something more structured. What?
That module is called eval exceptions.
Oh. Okay.
Just appeared on CPM last month ago.
Oh, okay, cool. So there's something on CPM. Of course there's something on CPM. So yeah, so you use that module and catch the error in eval, and then let that module tell you what the error really means. Any other questions? Still have 5 minutes. All right. Nothing else? Oh, sorry. I was like. Yeah,
why don't you keep the and in the where query? Why did you keep and as a separate thing instead of passing more things into where? And is there a or and so on?
Yeah, there is
an actually complicated where queries.
So you're asking why is this and instead of passing it all to where? Well, the idea is that each time you call where and, you're passing one condition.
Yeah.
And it would actually, again, I'd have to make it much more complicated to allow you to pass multiple conditions. Like I'd have to take a set of array references, which I just think would be really ugly. I think this reads a lot nicer. So, like with this, it's just whatever's passed to the call is the one condition, and it doesn't have to be 3 arguments. It could be, where album ID in a list, or between, or you could pass a subselect in there. Any of that stuff. There is an or. There's also methods that you can call to start then parentheses subgroup. So, yeah. There was another question.
If you rename a column in the database, how do you handle this in code? Do you have to rename it everywhere where you use the column method, or?
Yes. Okay. Did people hear his question, by the way? So the question was, if you rename a column in the database, do you have to rename it in your code? And the answer is yes. It doesn't. I mean, since the whole idea is that the schema object is defined by loading it from the database, next time you load it, you're going to get the new name, and then the ORM is going to automatically create a new attribute, or an attribute with a different name, so you just have to rename it. But that's what grep is for. Or ack. All right. Happy to use that. Yeah.
How do you handle subselects and exists?
It just works. I mean, the way you do it, like in a query clause, would be you create a separate select, you define it, and then you do like where album ID in subselect, or where exists subselect. I think something like that.
So can you read just
yeah, there's really no way to, well, you could inline it, but it would look really hideous. You'd have to start here, blah, 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 new select, and then inline select from where? All like right here. And it's going to make a really nasty looking thing. I don't know. I'd probably create them separately.
So looking at the code on the screen there, one of the things might do is where brackets and then this accessor. I just say it just sees a string and things
scalar string, it's going to assume it's a plain scalar string. You know what I mean? Like where track title equals string, it's going to assume you meant string. So now, what the other thing, like I said, is
wrong way around. So the first argument is where.
But there's no reason that the first argument to where has to be a column. There's nothing in SQL that says you have to do that. I know it's convention, but you could do where 0 equals element. So it really doesn't try to, again, it doesn't try to be too intelligent. What I would say is, I'll finish my answer. What I would say is that the way to do this is to write a layer that's a little smarter and maybe does exactly what you want on top of this. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's very easy to generate from a more magical layer.
That's the sort of smartness you're deliberately avoiding.
Yes, exactly. Basically, my experience with Alzabo was it tried to be really smart and ended up being a giant pain in the ass. So. All right, well, thank you very much for coming.